Hello, good people. My name is Lami Glenn. I'll be talking to you about a disorder that applies to myself, which is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So, before I begin, let's identify some of the origins or description for PTSD. So let's begin. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is a disorder that is trauma and stress related, and it may develop after exposure to an event in which death, violence, or physical violence may have occurred. Traumatic events leads to PTSD. So let's look at some of the examples that I'm using. Personal attack, maybe being beat up. This is very prevalent, and I'll put a start by this. Military combat. We have a lot of soldiers who are fighting a war where they're being bombed every day, attacked, they're subjected to suicide bombing. So just imagine the trauma that they're experiencing, which is PTSD. Accidents, like a car accident, of course, and also natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, all these things have the ability to traumatize us. So then the question becomes, what are the symptoms? So what are the symptoms of PTSD? Traumatic events, when they're exposed to events of objects reminiscent of trauma. Folks with PTSD also experience intrusive memories. Some of those memories include flashbacks to a time when they were hurt or harmed, emotional numbness, sleep disturbances. Some also mention anxiety, and also emotional distress. So people usually under PTSD become emotionally imbalanced. So let's take a look for a second, if you will, for how prevalent this illness is. So, according to the Nebraska Department of Veteran Affairs, 3 million new cases per year, which is a pretty large number, pretty significant number of people who are being diagnosed with PTSD. It has also been documented that this is the key age. 19 to 60 is the most common ages for those to be diagnosed with PTSD. Also, another interesting note, 7.8 million Americans will experience PTSD at some point in their life, with women 10.4%, twice likely than men, which are at 5%. So, knowing what we know about PTSD, what would the treatment be? So if you turn over this way, treatment begins first with a detailed evaluation. Usually evaluation is when you see a mental health evaluator, and you talk to them and you kind of explain the situation in which you're experiencing and how long it's been going on. Usually an individualized treatment plan is used to meet the need of the person. The main treatments for PTSD is psychotherapy, medication, or both, depending on the person's individual need. Treatment is varied and tailored to the symptoms and needs of the person. Also believe that therapy can also be helpful with PTSD. Well, that's it for today. My name is Lami, and I hope this information about PTSD and what you should know was very helpful. Thank you.